Hello everyone, in today's video we're going to be replacing the spark plugs for the 2021 Hyundai Elantra SEL. This is a 2.0 liter engine, and these are the spark plugs that we have for the replacement. We are at mile 96,610. So in order to do so, we are going to need to pop the hood, make sure the engine is off completely, and we will go from there as far as getting the replacements put in for, again, the 2021 Hyundai Elantra SEL 2.0 liter engine. So we're going to go ahead and pop the hood down here. We're going to reach and pull and get on into replacing those spark plugs. All right, so we're going to go ahead and find the hood opener just under here and go ahead and lift up the hood and get the prop rod up. Okay, now the next thing we're going to have to do is we're going to have to remove the cover, and this is simply a pop to uncover. Now be sure your engine is cool, because if it's hot you might burn your hand. Okay, so you're just going to pop these off. 1, 2, 3, and as you'll see, they're just little rubber things that hold these nubs in place. So that's how you get the cover off. Then the next thing you're going to want to do is disconnect each of these. These are your ignition coils, and once you go ahead and you pop those off, you're going to be able to get to the spark plugs to unscrew them and then replace them with the new ones that you just bought. So because it's really dirty under here and there's a lot of mosquitoes and dirt and debris, what I'm going to do is make sure we go ahead and vacuum and clean out this area before we start going ahead and working on anything else. All right, so now that we have vacuumed up a little bit inside here where the dirt and debris is, so it's more of a cleaner workspace, now we're going to go ahead and we're going to pop up the tabs to each of these electrical connectors, and then we're going to go ahead and actually remove them. So it will be a little wiggling involved to get them off, but they come off pretty easily once you get the hang of them. Just pop right off, and especially if your car is up and up on the maintenance and you're cleaning it and keeping it nice, it shouldn't really be an issue as far as disconnecting these. You may get a little struggle as far as this one is concerned. You may need to put a little extra pressure against it to get it out, but the tab is up, so it really shouldn't be that difficult. Might have to put the device down to go ahead and actually get this one out. All right, so as I said, that one was a little bit more of a pain getting undone, but I did get it and I pushed them all back. Pretty simple. There's just 4 different electrical connectors. And next step is you're going to want to take a 10mm socket and attached to a socket wrench, of course, to go ahead and take each of these ignition coils off. So I'm going to do one replacement at a time. So I'm only going to start by disconnecting one, and then from there we will go ahead and do one at a time. Now with these screws, once you go ahead and take them out, put them in a safe place or they're not going to roll somewhere where you can't find them. Again, a 10mm socket to go ahead and get them out. This is what they look like. And then again, put each of your bolts or nuts in a safe place so you don't go ahead and drop them. And then from there, it's just going to be simply popping this out to go ahead and get to the spark plug, just like so. And you even heard the pop. One thing you do want to know during this spark plug replacement is make sure there's no oil or buildup in this section here. And it looks like there isn't, and it's really dry and it looks really good. You can clean them too before reinstalling them to again make sure there's no dirt and debris that shouldn't be there when you put it back in place. Now for the removal of all the spark plugs, you are going to need a spark plug wrench, a 5/8 inch drive socket with a 6-inch extension so that you can go ahead and drop it in each cylinder to go ahead and loosen each of those spark plugs. Now, once each of them has been loosened, you can easily remove them. Now, so you don't go ahead and drop this extension into the cylinder, it's always a good idea to take some masking tape and tape in this section here so nothing falls inside that shouldn't, and so you don't have a problem, you know, with removal or replacement. Remember, it's lefty-loosey to loosen things. It's righty-tighty to tighten things. Okay, so this is the spark plug that was inside, and as you can see, this is what a used spark plug looks like. Now, to compare the two, you'll want to get your new replacement and compare it side by side with the one that you got. So as you can see the numbers here, you'll see the numbers, you'll turn up, it's SIL, ZKR 7L, and then if you turn back, 11S. So these are indeed the exact same spark plugs that are getting replaced. There's also numbers on the side here, but these numbers look a little bit different, so I'm not sure exactly why as far as that goes, but these are the ones that the vehicle called for, and I did look it up on the Hyundai website itself. So now we have the replacement spark plug on to the socket wrench, and now we're going to drop it down inside the cylinder, and we are going to go ahead and tighten it up. Now, after we hand tighten it, we're going to get a torque wrench and tighten it to approximately 18 foot-pounds, as it does call for in between a certain amount, but we're meeting it sort of in the middle. So as you can see here, we have the torque wrench set at approximately 17.5 pounds per square foot, and we're going to go ahead and attach this to the extension here and go ahead and tighten it in place from there. And once you tighten it to that, you can't tighten it anymore. It won't allow you to. It'll stay set at that. Now we just wipe down this ignition coil just a little bit, and we're gonna go ahead and drop this back inside. And as I said, we're doing one at a time, so make sure you hear that pop when you put it back in place. Okay, so it's back in place, and then we have to make sure we line up the screw hole. And hand tighten first, and then take your 10mm socket and go ahead and tighten it up. Make sure it's set on the tighten. I'm going to tighten that down. And we're not plugging it back in because, again, we want to do one at a time individually. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to go to the second one, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to loosen it same way. And once you get it loosened, you can unscrew it by hand. And again, put each one of these bolts in a safe spot. We have a safe spot on the side, and you're gonna hear a pop once it pops up, like so. And then clean it, and then clean around any dirt and debris in this area, and same thing, unscrew the spark plug to get it out, and then compare it to the one that you're replacing, and put it back in place. All right, so the second spark plug is coming out. As you can see, just examine it, take a look at it, and compare it to the new one that you have. But here is the old one. And here is the new one that will be going ahead and going inside. Hand tighten first, and then from that point, get your torque wrench with the specified pounds per square foot set to tighten it after the hand tightening process. Okay, so now we're gonna put the second ignition coil back in place, aligned up, and it just sits right on top. And now we're gonna put that bolt in its proper place and tighten it up. Hand tighten first, and then use the socket wrench to go ahead and tighten it down. Again, a 10mm socket will work great. Okay, and it's snug as a bug. Now we're gonna go ahead and loosen the third ignition coil. Again, it's 10mm socket wrench we're utilizing. And we're gonna go ahead and take this out and put it in a safe place, and then remove the ignition coil and vacuum up the spot a little bit to make sure we don't drop too much debris in the area. As you can see, it gets dirty in there. And inspect your ignition coil to see what it looks like as well, and clean it off in this area too. All right, now we're loosening spark plug number 3. Again, we're utilizing our spark plug wrench extension. And then from there, we're gonna pull it out after we hand loosen it. Okay, so here is the original spark plug that was in the vehicle, and here is the side-by-side comparison as to our new spark plug that will be entering the vehicle. We're going to attach it to the spark plug wrench like so, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to drop it down the hole and hand tighten first, and then after we're done hand tightening, we'll get that torque wrench to go ahead and tighten it to its specifications we set it at. Again, we have our torque wrench set at 17.5 foot-pounds. That's what we chose for the vehicle, and we're going to tighten it until we hear a certain amount of clicking sound, letting us know that we've tightened it enough. And you'll hear it. It won't let us tighten it anymore. So now that that's tightened, we're going to replace the ignition coil that we pulled out back into the hole. We will place it, give it a little push down, take the bolt and hand tighten that in. And then once we've hand tightened it, we will go ahead and tighten it with our socket wrench, our 10mm socket wrench. Okay, and that feels good to me. And now we will work on loosening our fourth ignition coil. Then we're almost done. So just a little loosening, and then hand unscrewing, this one might be the most difficult one. Then we're gonna inspect it and vacuum out the area again to make sure it's nice and tidy before we go from there. Okay, and here is spark plug number 4. Okay, and we're taking out spark plug number 4. And we're gonna compare it to our replacement. And we're gonna go ahead, put it back. Drop it in the hole and tighten it by hand first. All right, so we're gonna be tightening 17.5 foot-pounds on our torque wrench until we can't tighten it anymore. Okay, now we're gonna put the ignition coil back in place and line it up like so. Take the bolt and hand tighten it, line it up, hand tighten it. And then get our 10mm socket wrench and tighten it until we can't tighten it anymore. A little bit more than hand tightening is okay. Then if you want to take like a microfiber cloth and just wipe down everything, you can. Just make sure it's nice and clean. Now we are going to plug everything in. You'll hear a click every time you plug one of these back in, but you're not done yet, because after you plug each individual ignition coil in, you're going to push down this little tab here. Okay, then you're not done just yet, because you still have to put the cover back on, but make sure while you're here your oil cap is tightened and there's no other debris that you'd like to go ahead and vacuum up before you put your cover back on. But the cover is really simple. As I said, there's little knobs. There's 3 little knobs, and you're just going to go ahead and line them up as best as you can under here, and you are going to make sure that your back ones and your front ones are lined up, and just give it a little pop down. Make sure it's secure in place. Okay, and that is exactly how you change out the spark plugs on the 2021 Hyundai Elantra SEL 2.0 liter engine. Now we're going to close the hood and give it a moment of truth. I'm going to go ahead, put this back. I'm going to go ahead, close the hood. Okay, and now for the moment of truth, we're going to go ahead and start the vehicle for the first time with our brand new spark plugs installed and replaced from the original one. So put your foot on the brake and push the start button over here. Okay, and I do not see any kind of error messaging. So we have successfully replaced the spark plugs on the 2021 Hyundai Elantra SEL. Again, please be sure to like and subscribe for more great videos such as this one. And other than that, thank you so much for your time watching, and I will look forward to catching you on my next video. Thank you for watching. Take care now. Bye.